Hello and welcome to NFL Game Picks. Week what, Chris?
5, baby.
What are the Bears going to be after this week?
We'll see. We'll get into it. We'll get into it.
Okay.
Not looking good though. No.
What's your recollection of last week?
I didn't get to watch a ton because I was working, but
Grinding, dude.
we're up big. I look up, and all of a sudden we're not. It sucked. I mean, it gave us all hope. You know, I passed a fellow Bears fan in the hall, and he's like, "You must be excited. We're finally going to win a game." And then I saw him later, and I was like, way to jinx it, because freaking Denver came back 21-point. Historic comeback for the Broncos, of course, at the expense of the Bears, who
Classic.
have lost their 14th straight game in a row. We're coming up to a full year without seeing a Bears win, so that's awesome. Bear down.
Bear down. Dolphins down, unfortunately. Stock has dropped since last week, unfortunately. But, that was one of the things. I don't know if I said it on the podcast last week, but I basically, whenever anyone talked to me about the game, I was just like, we can afford to lose to Buffalo. That's all fine. It's just, how do we lose to Buffalo if we do? And the worst case scenario was lose in blowout fashion. So it's unfortunate, but a big bounce back week coming for the Fins. And how about the Packers, Joe?
Yeah, it kind of sucked this week. I mean, Thursday Night Football on a short week, youngest team in the league. Was pretty interested to see how they would respond, especially with a couple guys coming back like Watson and Jones, but they were on pitch counts, even though Watson did score a touchdown. It was really tough to watch in the first half. The second half, Jordan Love looked pretty good, bounced back nicely. The offense cooked something up in the second half. If it weren't for a couple of stupid penalties, they might have been able to cook something up even further, but they did not, and they got blown out. Proceeded to get scored on a crap ton of times by David Montgomery, and Detroit's for real.
Yeah. Tough week for the pod. Huh?
Yeah, very tough week.
A straight losing week.
Eesh.
Kept on telling Chris, I'm like, man, like someone in this house has to be a winner every week, and the Bears aren't holding up that end of the bargain, man. I think we're gonna have to let you.
You can't rely on us for this.
I
know.
It's up to the Dolphins and the Packers. But I think the funniest moment from that game, Joey, was I went out to go get some food, and then you're like, "Stay your ass, stay." Because you guys started scoring. I'm like, I'm literally pulling into the driveway.
Like, well, go back. He did not go back.
No, and then it went downhill pretty much after.
Yeah,
I should have stayed going.
Yeah.
But
it is what it is.
It is. All right, let's get into the standings. So we have a new leader on the top, Yadian, with a 45-19 overall record. He went 12-4 last week. There's a strong asterisk there because I'm in second place. I mistakenly somehow selected the Packers when I clear as day stated Detroit Lions. I'm not gonna be too picky about it. I mean, we're still up there on the leaderboard, 44-20, but neither here or there. Third place is Troy with a 12-4 week and 43-21. And boys, where you guys at?
Well, Joey and I were tied, but I jumped him. I got a 2-game lead on him. I went, what did I do? 11-5 last week, and I'm on 39-25. If I wouldn't have taken my Bears in almost every week this year, I'd be up there at like the 42 range. But I got to kick it with my guys, unfortunately.
You got to.
Which is going to cost me, I think, in the end, because I'm still going to roll with my fellas for most of these games until I can't.
It's gonna pay off big when they actually do, though.
I'll be the only one, yeah.
Let's hope. How about you, Joey?
Yeah, I was trying to, have a good week after going 11-5 the following week, but 9-7 above 500, I guess is all right, but I'm not doing too good in the grand scheme of things here.
37-27 grand total, and we got a couple 13-3s this week. Previous week we have Andy Figueroa and Victor. So guys, good pickings. I want to see if I'm missing anyone. I don't think I am.
The other Andy went 3-13.
Oh yeah, Gonzo. I mean, that's not a good look for. That's a Cowboys fan if I ever seen one. But Chris, why don't you take us away and kick us off with Thursday Night Football?
Thursday Night Football. The Bears going to the Washington Commanders. I'm going to make it quick and painless. I'm still rocking with my guys despite everybody else not. So if we do win, I'm going to pick up a game on the entire league, which would be sick. We were talking about it earlier before we started that they played nearly the same time on a Thursday night, October, I think it was the 13th or 14th last year, which is kind of weird that a year later they're doing it again. That game ended 12-7, I believe, so if you're thinking it's going to be much better than that, I can't promise anything, but I'm rocking with my Bears for no reasons outside they're my team, obviously, and we actually looked pretty decent up until we didn't. So if we could figure out a game plan and, I mean, maybe try to contain Sam Howell, which I don't really think he's that good, I think we could honestly easily come in and get our first win of the year and first win of almost an entire calendar year. So hopefully we got this win.
That would be truly interesting to see. I, on the other hand, am not going with the Chicago Bears. I'm going with the Washington Commanders. Sorry, Chris, but I said it previously. The Bears lose a certain game. I'm not picking them the rest of the year. They did that. I'm going to stay true to that. Will I stay true to it throughout the season? Who knows? But as far as we're going right now, I'm not picking the Bears for a long time in the foreseeable future. But things are looking a little shaky there in Chicago, and it's a bit concerning.
Bears looked good last week until they didn't.
Until they didn't.
I don't know what to say much about Justin Fields. He had a good performance, but the entire rest of the team is terrible. I'm going to go with the Commanders. The Bears still suck. That's nothing new. Justin Fields showed a little bit of a flash last week, but I don't know if he's going to be there much longer.
Finally getting the ball to DJ Moore. So.
Yeah, that's nice. I don't know. I guess that's it.
Should the Bears lose this game? Like, what is the future trajectory? As a Bears fan, what do you want to see either the Bears do or just, like, what is a silver lining in all this, aside from maybe draft capital or draft positioning?
So everybody and their brother wants to ask me this question.
So let's just put it out there.
I don't know. A lot of people are saying you should tank for the number 1, number 2 pick. Take the stud out of USC with the quarterback, and then maybe do Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver. Nice 1-2 punch. I'm not 100% on Fields yet, even though I'm probably alone on that island. I think he still shows flashes of where he could be really, really good and really dangerous. I don't want to tank for Caleb Williams? Is that his name? Yeah, I don't want to tank for Caleb Williams, honestly. If we draft another quarterback in the top 10, we're just going to mess it up anyways. So we have the Panthers pick. They haven't won yet either. So I'd like to see us win a few games so I can get you people off my back, honestly.
I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately, at least this week. But let's keep it moving. We have another international game. London, baby. We got the
baby.
We got the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Buffalo Bills. Back-to-back weeks in London for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Last week they were at Wembley. This week they're at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Kickoff is at 9:30 a.m. and around 12:30 or so, the Buffalo Bills will be leaving London with a W. It's unfortunate Jaguars finally kind of got their mojo going against this Atlanta Falcons team, but it was still underwhelming, and I'm going to continue to say that until they either prove me wrong or just, beat a good team. And Buffalo Bills assure you they're a very good team. So if the Jaguars can get a win here, that'll be pretty astounding and maybe change their season outlook. But right now, they're just a team that's going to be fighting for the AFC South currently. And aside from that, not much higher expectations through the first 4 weeks. Anyone else want to follow?
Yeah, I'm going with the Bills as well. Even though I think it's going to be closer than what you probably alluded to. Jacksonville's been there, so they don't have to travel. I think that's a big deal, especially. I mean, I don't know how long a flight from Buffalo to cross the pond is, but it's still probably further than most teams are traveling this week. But the Jags have been there. I do think it'll be a tight game, but I think Buffalo will edge it out.
I'm going to have to agree with you, Chris. I will go with Buffalo in this one. Jacksonville does have the edge, though. They have been there for a while. They did already get a win over there. I think they split it and go 1-1 in London.
All right. Enough said. All right, back to you, Joey. Kick us off with a 1 p.m.
All right, we got an
games.
AFC North divisional matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. I don't really know what to make of either of these teams. Kenny Pickett went out with an injury. I'm not sure he's going to play this week.
He's going to play, he said today.
Is he? Wow. Okay, that's interesting. But
If-
Baltimore is just a weird team that's 3-1 that doesn't look like they're 3-1. I'm going to go with Baltimore in this one just because of the star power that they have, but this is going to be tighter than a lot of people think.
I think I'm going to have to do the same thing. Odell's still questionable. I don't know how much that
Jesus.
means to you guys these days. You guys were the ones that were telling me that he's going to come in and have a big year. Haven't really seen
He
that.
hasn't had it yet.
But, I mean, like you said, it doesn't feel like the Ravens are 3-1, but yet they could very nearly have been 4-0. They only lost by 3 points to the Colts, I believe. I'm going with the Ravens. Kenny Pickett is banged up. I feel like if he does take a hard hit, they're probably going to pull him, and then it's going to be Trubisky time. And as a Bears fan, I know how that goes, so can't rely on that. I'm going with the flock.
Yeah, we flocking, baby. I'm going with the Ravens as well. Like you guys alluded to, Baltimore is another team that I would kind of put in the Jaguars category, except they've actually been winning games. They've been a bit underwhelming. I understand some injuries have a part in doing so, but aside from that, we have the Baltimore Ravens that the connection with Mark Andrews between him and Lamar Jackson is absolutely killer. I mean, they just a dynamic duo out there on the field. The running game has definitely taken a hit since J.K. Dobbins has gone down to injury. And the receiving core as a whole isn't the best, but I think there's a lot of potential there. And should Lamar Jackson have good connection with a lot of those guys, I think they can go a really long way. It's just a matter of how they get things done. But moving on, what do we got next, Chris?
Ooh, good game, good game. We got the Panthers heading to Detroit. I'm going to make it easy and just go ahead and take the Lions. I don't think the Panthers really stand a chance. The Lions look pretty legit. And I'm hoping that the Panthers keep losing so we get that number 1, maybe 2, 3 pick from them. So I'm going with the Lions.
Nice. I will be going with the Detroit Lions as well. Detroit has looked really impressive through the first 4 weeks, and they're looking like a playoff contender 100%. I think they're going to be the front runners for the remainder of the season for the division, unless Green Bay has a good challenge of turning it around. I think the Vikings are a big wild card factor in the sense of, like, they've had a tough schedule. They've lost a lot of close games, and if they can turn things around, win a couple more games, and get back on track, I think they could be contenders in this situation. But Detroit can get such a big lead already with getting piling up these wins. So that's going to be interesting to watch down the line.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Lions as well. Man, they look really strong. A lot of people are saying that, hey, watch out for Detroit. But you don't really know how good Detroit is until your team has lost to Detroit, and you're like, damn, freaking Detroit. Going with the Lions, man. Easy pick right here.
All right, what's the next game we got, Joe?
Next game, we got the Houston Texans, who are white hot right now, traveling to the Atlanta Falcons, who are kind of facing some offensive woes, maybe a little bit of fighting between a wide receiver and a quarterback on that team. I'm going to go with the Texans here. I like what C.J. Stroud has done so far. He looks like the offensive rookie of the year, besides Puka Nacua, maybe. I don't know. But, man, I really like his poise, his demeanor, and really everything that he's bringing to the Houston Texans.
Yeah, I am all on the same boat with you on that one. I think Stroud is performing at an all-time level so far as a rookie. I believe he's averaging 300 yards a game, no interceptions. I mean, just lights out the gates, and he's facing another team in Atlanta that could allow him that opportunity to post up those similar numbers. So with that being said, I mean, this Texans team, I think, will overwhelm this Atlanta Falcons team. They are favored, the Falcons, at home, but I don't expect them to come out with a victory here.
Yeah, I don't know how a team can be favored after they scored 6 and then 7 points in back-to-back games. I'm going with the Texans. C.J. Stroud is having a historic start to the year, and I think he continues that. He's looking like the best QB from that draft class, clearly. I know there's a disgruntled Panthers fan in our office now that is realizing that Bryce Young might not be that guy, or at least not as good as Stroud. So they are probably going to be sad they missed out on him at the end of the day.
We got a battle of the news. What do we got next, Chris?
We got the New Orleans Saints versus the New England Patriots, and I haven't really been confident in this pick. I've gone back and forth, I think, twice, 2 or 3 times. Neither one of these teams can score the ball, just like the Falcons. Neither one of these teams can score. I'm going to go with the home team just because they're at home and it is Bill Belichick. Derek Carr's a little banged up too. Not super confident in the pick, but that's what I'm rolling with.
Yeah, man, I'm going to have to go with the New England Patriots as well. Derek Carr is banged up as a result of Rashawn Gary. But this is really kind of a weird matchup because both of these teams have been a little underwhelming so far this season, to say the least. But am I really looking forward to watching this matchup on Sunday? No. Do I think it's going to be a shockingly, surprisingly good game? Maybe. But I think it's going to suck, and I think the Patriots are probably going to win this game.
There's definitely potential for it to be like one of those
Yeah,
surprising
it's
games.
so
Like,
weird.
whoa, like what's going on here? Or like, how is this so close? Or how high scoring, whatever it may be. The scoring aspect, I don't think so much in terms of that. Over under set at 40. I would maybe go with the under, but I could easily see both teams going with 20 points here. The Patriots defense with Bill Belichick as of late hasn't been the strongest. Plus 2 big injuries to their defense, Christian Gonzalez and Matt Judon. I'm not sure about the timetable, but I know they're not going to play in this matchup against the Saints. I'm rocking with the Saints. I know Derek Carr is hurt, but this one's for you, DJ. I mean, this Saints team, I think they're going to rally and finally get some things back on track. They're 2-2, and I think injuries is a big factor. Not having Alvin Kamara is another factor. He's back, so I think a lot is going to happen for this New Orleans Saints team, and it's going to make the NFC South a really interesting division. Patriots, on the other hand, buried. They're done. But speaking of the AFC East, we have the Miami Dolphins hosting the New York Giants, and man, I'm so excited for the Dolphins to come back home. I was gonna go and stop by the store and get a little cupcake. And for a little cupcake game we got here. But I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins. Bad loss in Buffalo. The New York Giants, it's just abysmal. 11 sacks. Daniel Jones got sacked 11 times, guys. If the Dolphins can replicate any of that, that would be astounding. But I'm expecting them to have a good bounce-back performance as well for the Giants. But let's hope that Cater Kohu isn't manned up against whoever the best receiver for the New York Giants
I don't
is.
think it'll matter.
Yeah, me neither, honestly. But man, that was really frustrating to watch. Aside from that, Saquon might be back. Do you have any news on that, Chris?
He's been practicing, so he might make his return. It's only Wednesday today, so there's still a lot of time for him to come back. This is his first game that he's eligible to play, so he might get a little bit of action.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to matter, though. I'll quickly just put in my pick of the Dolphins, the number 1 offense in the league, passing, rushing, all of the above. One interesting factor is Brian Dable might have a few tricks up his sleeve when it comes to Tua, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Of course, they worked together, I believe, when they were at Alabama. So that'll be interesting. He has a lot of high praise to say about Tua as well, but it's not going to be enough. I'm going with the Dolphins.
Really quick, Joe. Dable said. Dable said that Tua is a different type of quarterback. So there's quarterbacks that can hit the door. There's quarterbacks that can hit the doorknob. There's quarterbacks that can hit the keyhole, and that's Tua. And then like hearing that's so cool. Like. Someone that was one of the biggest praises of Tua coming out of college was his accuracy. And you're starting to see that a bit, and that's one of those claims that Tyreek is always saying, like one of the most accurate quarterbacks. He's not saying the best quarterback. I mean, obviously, between the two, you'll probably say who's the best, and I'll admit it as well. I would say Patrick Mahomes. But that being said, the most accurate quarterback, I would probably say without a doubt, is Tua.
Sorry.
Live reaction to MLB playoffs.
I would have to say that, this is a freaking easy game to pick. The Dolphins are going to wipe the floor with the New York Giants. As much as I really want to pick the Giants, this Dolphins team is just incredible, and they're going to wipe the floor with the New York Giants.
Or Paca going to stay up to watch
Yeah,
this?
it's
It
at
won't be-
1
it won't be a
o'clock, so
late
he'll
one.
be able to watch it. But and it's local, so he'll actually be able to watch this one. But I don't know.
Not a good game to tune in.
Yeah, it's never been a good. We were talking about week 1, me and my sister, because they got killed by the Cowboys. I'm like, you think they stayed up for this? We talked to them the next day. They're like, yeah, we watched the whole freaking thing. I'm like, you guys, I feel so bad.
That's tough. But that's
It's
that
gonna
is
be
true
another
fandom.
scenario.
It's
40
tough.
to nothing. Yeah, that
Yeah.
hurts. That hurts.
What do we got next, Joe?
We got the Tennessee Titans going to Lucas Oil Stadium to face off against the Colts. I actually have the Colts in this one. They've looked pretty shocking so far this year in weird ways. They're always getting blown out at first, and then I'll look back on the scoreboard and be like, wait, they tied it up? Oh, crap, they got a game over there. So I'm going with the Colts in this one. I feel like that's going to be a weird one that they're going to pull out within the division, I believe, right? The Titans are in their division?
Yeah, AFC South.
AFC South.
Yep. And, go Colts.
I'm going to go with the Colts, too. Speaking of running backs, JT is in the building. He is back
Yes.
practicing. Contract dispute, then a weird ankle-type injury that nobody's really sure what's going on there. He might play. I'd take it. He's going to dress. I mean, he's going to be on the field in some fashion. I like Richardson a lot. I'm going with the Colts at home against the Titans, who have been very up and down. They just lost 1 week 27-3, and then they won 27-3 last week against the Bengals. Very up and down team. Hard to predict, especially in a divisional game, but give me the Colts at home here.
Yeah, I will be rocking with the Colts as well. I really liked what I've seen from them. That overtime loss was like an absolute shocker of a game. I'm sad I couldn't see like the final drive. I was making my Dolphins video after when that was like happening, but man, that OT, like forcing OT was huge for them, especially against a team like the Rams, who kind of a middle of the pack type of team currently, but I think they have potential to be upsetters throughout the season. The Rams. But the Colts, on the other hand, looking really good, and I'm just loving what I'm seeing from Anthony Richardson. He's one of the other rookie quarterbacks that are performing exceedingly well, and I think there's a lot going on there that's going to be going good. So let's go Colts. And with that being said, we're going to go to 4 p.m. with the 4 o'clock kickoff of the Cincinnati Bengals versus Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals have been one of the more interesting teams in the NFL due to their surprising ways of how they come out and play. They're one of those teams that play up to whoever they're playing, and you don't expect them to win, but they're gonna fight. They're gonna fight, and that's what is gonna really matter. This Bengals team, Joe Burrow's injury is really looking bad. Like it's, and last week immobile against the Titans, getting teed off on getting hit left and right nonstop, and man, it wasn't 11 sacks like Daniel Jones, but it was not good. It was not good. I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals, but, man, I would not be surprised if somehow the Arizona Cardinals pull this one off.
Whew, I guess you have to take the Bengals, right? I mean, they're on the road, like you mentioned. Joe Burrow has not looked good at all, and that has affected my fantasy team because I drafted Jamar Chase, and that sucks. Hopefully this is one of those weeks where they kind of get back on track. They are notorious for slow starts. They've lost 3 out of the first 4 games, and some of them haven't even been close, to be honest. Not what you want to see from the Bengals, who are supposed to be Super Bowl contenders. But that being said, let me get them on the road. I just don't feel confident in taking this Cardinals team, even though a lot of their games have been close.
I feel like I'm supposed to pick the Bengals too, but let me talk to you. I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals here. The Cincinnati Bengals have looked like absolute trash all year. Complete disappointment, especially after making Joe Burrow the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. What are we doing, Cincinnati? Love the Skyline Chili, but I'm going with Arizona in this one, man. I don't know what to tell you. You look like crap all year.
What good food comes out of the desert? Do you have an answer?
I have no clue. I gotta look it up.
Yeah, we gotta figure out the correlation. So if they do win, I think Joey's gonna hop on this train, try out that food, and see what's good.
You're gonna have to. Okay, so we got. It's like tacos. Okay, I love tacos. Beef and lamb, chimichangas. All right, we're here.
Yeah.
All right, I'm definitely going with the Arizona Cardinals. I
In and
love a
out.
good chimmy. In and out. Yeah, the whole bit.
I would say in and out's a little bit more like a California thing, but what do we got next? Who wants to go and bring up this next game, huh?
I'll do it.
All right, let's go, Joe.
We got the Philadelphia Eagles going to Los Angeles to face off against the Rams. And
Rams.
Listen, like what the Rams have been kind of going up and doing so far in response to having kind of a slow start, but the Eagles have looked like one of the best teams in the league, so this is pretty easy for me to pick. I'm going with the Eagles here. They kind of had a interesting game against Washington. Maybe they shouldn't have had that close of a game, but we'll see what happens there in Philadelphia. They're bound to lose a game at some point, right? But I don't think it's this week.
All the Rams games have been close though this season, despite not having their best player in Cooper Kupp, who could come back. I believe this is his first game he's eligible to come back for. I don't know if that's going to make too much of a difference. I'm going with the Eagles on the road. It sucks taking back-to-back road teams, especially East Coast teams that are going out west. But Stafford's banged up. He's kind of like the whole Joe Burrow situation where we don't really know if he's going to make it through the whole game. He could get hit again and need to come out. He's one of the toughest guys in the NFL, though, so I do expect him probably to finish the game. If not, Stetson Bennett, who's nearly just as old as him, is going to have to take the reins, so I'm not confident in that either. But shout out to Puka, who's setting records every single week.
Yeah, scored his first NFL touchdown last week in dramatic fashion, getting an OT touchdown. That was sick.
It was sick.
Aside from that, Stafford is concerning. Can he what is his status? I know he was limping a lot. He didn't look good towards the end of the game. I think that was a big reason why the Colts were somehow able to get back into that game. Otherwise, I think a healthy Matt Stafford would have put that game away. But luckily, they did end up coming out on top. And that's all that matters for the Los Angeles Rams. But this week, you're facing the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, that's one of the best teams in the NFL, and there's going to be a lot of tush pushes. I'm telling you guys, get your Cardinals ready. There's going to be a lot of tush pushing. It's going to be crazy. But let's keep it moving to the 4:25 window. We have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Minnesota Vikings. Man, I have a weird feeling about this game. I'm going to go with KC. But, dude, if the Vikings can pull this off and right the ship on their season, I think this will be the biggest momentum type of shift for the Minnesota Vikings should they win this game. Do I think they're going to win? I don't think so. I think Kansas City is just starting to get on a good roll. No status yet on Taylor Swift. Is she going to be there? I know we got her insight.
I don't know. Who knows? I would assume so. She's been at the last two. I don't think her tour starts back up for a little bit. Back-to-back Kelsey games here, by the way. Who I am getting a little bit tired of hearing about all of it. I'm not going to lie.
Who cares?
I feel like we've had Taylor Swift brought up in a yelling-type conversation around the office almost every single day since we've seen her pop up. Let me just get over this game. I'm going with KC. Despite Minnesota getting their first win last week, I feel really bad for Kirk Cousins because that defense stinks. And he's not having a bad year, and he seems like a good guy based off that and a quarterback show on Netflix. But I hope KC gets a win because the Bears will play the Vikings in the following week. And as bad as the Bears look, they only have one win more than us. Just saying.
Yeah, I could use a Kansas City win here, so that's why I'm going with them. Chiefs are freaking good, though. You know, they didn't play the... I don't really know what to think of the Chiefs anymore. Are they good? Are we supposed to think that they're good because they have Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift? I mean, I don't know. From what I see from the Chiefs, that's all that they have. And I'm sorry, but, I have a hard time confidently picking the Chiefs every week. But this one, I'm going to have to go with them because I hate the Vikings. But I got my eye on the Chiefs this year, man. I don't really know what's going on over there.
I would say they're a little suspect.
Yeah.
I think... in years past, we're like, the Chiefs are good.
Yeah.
And, this year, we're like, the Chiefs are good. You know, they get by. Letting a Jets team, which we're going to talk about in a sec, but letting a Jets team kind of come back into that game. 3 interceptions from Mahomes last week. I mean, I know that Jets defense is good. Don't get me wrong. But, man, you're Patrick Mahomes. You shouldn't be turning over the ball that much. You should mind you, when it came down to it, they had essentially a game-winning drive. They milked out almost 6 or 7 minutes of clock after the Zach Wilson fumble, and Mahomes capped it off with a perfect slide right before the end zone. How you doing? I'm here. I'm here in New York, the Mecca, whatever you want to call it. But let's go to Denver Broncos.
Yeah,
What we got?
speaking of the Jets, they're going to Denver to play the Broncos. I guess I'm going to take the Broncos at home. These are two crappy teams facing off against each other. And I guess we just got to believe, like Russ says, we just got to believe in them. Well, I believe that Zach Wilson's the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. There's some backups that are better than him. So, yeah, I'm not going to pick the Jets while he's at quarterback.
I can name you one quarterback, a backup QB that's better than him.
Who's that?
White, my guy.
Mike White.
The Broncos will be debuting their white helmets this week.
Throwbacks.
So it'll be like their throwback color rush, whatever.
It's like
mess.
the white cap. Uniform.
Whatever mess they made there, and then they had a white helmet too on top of it. They totally missed out on not having like the baby blue helmet. But with that being said, I'm gonna rock with the Denver Broncos. But I hope for Zach Wilson good performance. I was forced to pick him up in fantasy after Joey took Sam Howell from my reach, man.
Sorry.
What are you doing, Joe?
I'm sorry, man. I can't pick up Zach Wilson. So, but listen, I am gonna go with the New York Jets here. Let's not forget that this was the whole. I mean, didn't they do 25 minutes of this on Hard Knocks about keep my coach's name out of your mouth and a bunch of crap? This was the most hyped up matchup of the summer, and now no one cares. Newsflash. Yeah, no one cares, dude. It's the Jets and the frickin' Broncos. Don't know what to tell you, but they both suck. I'm going with the Jets, though. They probably suck less.
That totally slipped my mind. And, a lot of people are keeping receipts on Sean Payton, and that's going to be a theme of this season. Luckily, he hasn't been talking out of his butt too much, but, man, that's I didn't even put that into my mind. But It's going to suck now with not having Aaron Rodgers there, because otherwise it would have been a little bit more intensified. But that's going to be the story of the season for the New York Jets. Now we got Sunday Night Football. This is a big matchup, boys. We got the Dallas Cowboys versus the San Francisco 49ers. This is going to be the first real test of the Cowboy season. You could say, losing to the Cardinals was a big test, or beating the Patriots in the way they did last week was another test. Everyone they beat, they blew them out, and if you look at the rest of those teams, bad teams, less than one win. There's less than 3 wins combined in all those 3 teams. San Francisco 49ers, boss. They're probably the number 1 team in the entire NFL. It's them and the Philadelphia Eagles, honestly, in my opinion. I'm not going with the boys. I'm rocking with the 49ers. They're at home, Sunday Night Football. I know Levi Stadium is going to be rocking. And, 49ers improved to 5-0. Cowboys are really going to get sunned here.
Yeah, I got to go the same route. 49ers, top 5 defense, top 5 offense. The Dallas Cowboys have caused the most turnovers this year on defense. And their defense is still a top 5, top 3, actually, in the NFL. So it's going to be a battle, I feel like. But who do I trust more, Dak or Brock Purdy? Oh, man, that's a tough question. Dak and his turnovers scare me, and I think Brock Purdy's mid, but I think he's got enough stars around him to where, I don't know, it kind of balances out. I think San Fran rolls on to be 5-0, and the Dallas Cowboys fall to 3-2 on the season.
I'm going to have to agree with you guys. The San Francisco 49ers probably look like the best team in football. Christian McCaffrey looks like he might win MVP as a running back, which is insane. I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers. Dallas defense has looked really good so far, but I think they're going to be without Micah Parsons this week. Who knows? Maybe, possibly. He got shaken up last week. But I'm going with San Francisco here. And in this next game, we got the Green Bay Packers traveling to Las Vegas to face off against the Raiders on Monday Night Football. I'm very excited for this game. Devontae Adams will be going against his former team, the Green Bay Packers. I'm hoping that he goes off against, or doesn't go off, but goes against Jair Alexander. And, they have a good game against one another. And provide a decent Monday Night Football game. As of recently, we haven't gotten too many good Monday Night Football games. So I'm excited for a good Monday Night Football game from the Green Bay Packers. Hopefully, Jordan Love can perform well in prime time. He didn't get a chance to do that on Thursday, but Las Vegas hasn't looked so good this year. So I'm going with the Green Bay Packers to perform very well against the Vegas Raiders.
Would you be concerned in any capacity if Jimmy Garoppolo suits up for this game?
I expect him to suit up to begin with, so I'm expecting it to be kind of a shootout on offense. I really think Rashawn Gary's going to get involved a lot. Khalil Mack had 6 sacks against these guys last week, so I don't know. Both offensive lines do kind of suck, so this might be a defensive war or it might be a shootout. I don't really know how to judge it, but I'm hoping for the viewers' sake, it's just a shootout.
It's going to be tough when they're two bottom feeder offensive teams in the league. I don't know if this is going to be what's going to be a worse game, this one or Thursday night. I'm not sure. Probably this one just because the Packers are involved. Let me get the Raiders. Like you mentioned, Garoppolo might play. Josh Jacobs looked awesome last week despite the rest of his team not really keeping up with him. And Max Crosby also looked amazing. Let me go ahead and take the Raiders. I don't know. Just can't bet the Packers right now. Can't do it.
Dude, that's low. That's a new low for you. Even you, Chris.
He's salty.
Yeah, he is. I will say I'm going with the Packers. I'm going with the Packers. I think I like what I see from the Packers, man. It's just very similar to like what I saw from the Dolphins last week. The offensive line needs to protect Jordan Love. Give him some time to throw the ball. I think there's a lot of potential there at the quarterback position there for the Packers. And if they don't find a way to shore up that offensive line, they're going to be in a lot of trouble this season. And especially in this game against the Las Vegas Raiders, who have guys who can get to the quarterback, especially, like Chris alluded to, Max Crosby. So aside from that, this Raiders team had an interesting performance against the Los Angeles Chargers, was able to come back and just, I don't know what happened, whether it was miscommunication or if it was just pure, just like a big F up, right? Like, I don't know what happened, but they're on the goal line. Jacoby Myers runs like a zig route. Devontae Adams is kind of going with him at the same time, and none of them look towards the ball. Boom. They're one of the corners for the Los Angeles Chargers. Jumps in there, beats it off, and then gets the interception. So not the best look for the Raiders, but given the performance with a rookie quarterback at the helm is not the best. But Jimmy Garoppolo could come back. So that's going to be the interesting factor in this game. I'm still going to rock with the Packers. And then a real quick note before we end off this episode. Teams on bye that we did not mention. The Cleveland Browns, Seattle Seahawks, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Los Angeles Chargers. I think the biggest one that really needed it was the Seattle Seahawks with Geno going down. But he was able to come back in the game, but he did not look 100% healthy. Tampa Bay, I think they're just starting to get things rolling. Chargers, but really beneficial. Their season's not getting off to the start that they wanted it to. And then the Browns, I think this is a good spot for Deshaun Watson, who was injured last game, to get a chance to come back and come back fully healthy and then have a good rest of the season. Any last words, Chris?
Week 5 already. Season's flying by. I have yet to sit down and watch an entire Bears game. I'm not really missing a whole lot, but it seems like it's flying by.
Joey.
Yeah, I can't even believe it's already week 5. It's crazy, man. NBA's about to start. We got playoff baseball. October is pretty crazy month as a sports fan. I'm kind of excited for it.
There was you guys seen the video of LeBron walking into the NBA All-Star game, locker room, and he's dapping everyone up.
Yeah.
And it's like Monday Night Football, NBA Media Day, training camp for that stuff, hockey starting, baseball, playoffs, NFL, it's college football. It was just like, it was sick. Like, it was just like, man, this is probably one of the better times of the year. Especially like in October / early November, all sports are playing. And they're actually playing for either regular season, postseason, or just big time moments. And hey, shout out to the New York Liberty for making it to the WNBA finals. I know you weren't gonna bring it up. I thought you were Mr. WNBA here.
We got 50 straight days of football, and you want to talk about WNBA? I'd rather watch this FIU game that's on right now.
It's not bad. One of the OG Miami colleges, but
Hey.
they won't take down the U in that sense. With that being said, week 5, those are our game picks. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for sticking around. Let us know what you thought of the picks, and we'll catch you guys next week. Later.
Peace.